The king was irate. His daughter, Gertrude, though but a plump 16, had voiced reluctance to marry the nobleman of his choice, Horvendil the Ute, a beefy warrior in every way suitable, if Utes could ever suit, in marriage, a Zealand maiden born and reared in the royal castle of Elsinore. To disobey the king is treason, Rorik admonished his child, the roses in whose thin-skinned cheeks flared with defiance and distress. When the culprit is the realm's only princess, he went on, the crime becomes incestuous and self-injuring. In every way suitable to you, Gertrude said, pursuing her own instincts, shadows chased into the far corners of her mind by the regal glare her father cast. But I found him unsubtle. Unsubtle? He has all the warrior wit a loyal Dane needs. Horvendil slew the tormentor of our coasts, King Koll of Norway, by taking his long sword in 2 hands, thus baring his own chest. But before he could be stabbed there, he shattered Koll's shield and cut off the Norseman's foot so the blood poured clean out of him. As he lay, turning the sands beneath him into mud, Koll bargained the terms of his funeral, which his young slayer granted graciously. "I suppose that could pass for nicety," said Gertrude, "in the dark old days, when the deeds of the sagas were being wrought, and men and gods and natural forces were all as one." Rorik protested. "Horvendil is a thoroughly modern man, my battle-mate Gervindil's worthy son. He has proven a most apt co-governor of Jutland with his rather less prepossessing brother, Feng. An apt governor, solus, I might say, since Feng is forever off in the south, fighting on behalf of the Holy Roman Emperor or whoever else trusts his arm and his agile tongue. Fighting and whoring, it is said. The people love him, Horvendil. They do not love Feng." "The very qualities that make for public love," Gertrude responded, her rosy blush slowly subsiding as the moment of most heated opposition between father and daughter passed, "may impede love in private. In our fleeting contacts, Horvendil has treated me with an unfeeling standard courtesy, as a court ornament whose real worth derives from my kinship with you. Or else he has looked through me entirely, with eyes that see only the rivalrous doings of other men. This is the gallant who, having laid coal and sufficient gold on the buried black ship to the next life, pursued and butchered the slain man's sister, Sella, with no merciful allowance for the frailty of her sex. Sella was a warrior, a rover, to equal a man. She deserved a man's death." The phrase piqued Gertrude. "Is a woman's death less than a man's, I wonder? I think death for both is exactly as big as it must be, like the moon when it blackens the sun, to eclipse life completely, even to the last breath, which perhaps will be a sigh over opportunities wasted and happiness missed. Sella was a rover, but no woman wants to be a mere piece of furniture, to be bartered for and then sat upon." So defiant a formula, emerging from his fair daughter's flushed face, lifted Rorik's tangled half-grey eyebrows in synchrony with his upper lip, from which a long, limp moustache drooped. His lip stopped lifting as his instinctive indulgent laugh was checked and hardened by the pressure of royal policy into a snarl. He was reminding himself to be stern. His mouth looked meaty and twisty and red between his moustache and his uncombed, grizzled beard. He would have been ugly had he not been her father. "Since your mother's untimely death, my dear child, your happiness has been my supreme concern. But I have pledged you to Horvendil, and if a king's word is broken, the kingdom cracks. All the 3 years when Horvendil roved, seizing trophies from Koll's hoard and Sella's palace and a dozen or more fat ports of Switzerland and Rus, he allowed me as his liege lord the pick of the plunder." "And I am to be the plunder in exchange," Gertrude observed. She was an ample, serene, dewy, and sensible girl. Had her beauty a flaw, it was a small gap between her front teeth, as if too broad a smile had once pulled the space forever open. Her hair, Unbound as became a virgin was the red of copper diluted by the tin of sunlight. A warmth surrounded her, an aura noticeable since infancy.